G'day there guys, Markee back again with another episode of r/EntitledParents. Now, if you're not 12 years old, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and have a good one. Posted by user Seth Borf, titled, Entitled Dad Makes Impossible Request and Gets Banned from the Store. I used to work at the Big Orange hardware store as a loader way back in 2009. As this story occurred 11 years ago, some details are a bit blurry. I apologize in advance for this. Now for the story. An entitled dad came by to order 20 bales of pine straw. He had his kid with him who didn't interact with us, so he won't have any dialogue in this story. Entitled dad only had a tiny compact car, and there was only enough room inside for the 5 bales max before it became unsafe to drive, and maybe enough for 10 if safety for his kid wasn't his concern. Here's what transpired. Me is me, ED is entitled dad, TL is team leader, M is manager. I say, your car is too small for these. And he says, no it's not, you can fit them in there. Can we tie some to your roof? No, fit them all in the trunk and my back seat, and don't get any loose straw in my car. It's impossible to fit though. Even if I played Tetris with them, I could probably only get 8 max. But then you wouldn't be able to see through your rear view. It's your job to figure it out. I hope you don't mind me asking, but how far do you live from here? Oh, I'm about 5 minutes away. Okay, good. Would you be interested in renting one of our trucks to help in transporting these bales? They don't cost much, and since you're so close by, it should be quite cheap. No, I don't want to pay any more than I already have. Are you sure you can't let us tie some bales to your roof? No, I don't want them falling off. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I contact our team leader over the radio and tell her the situation and ask her to come out to the loading area. She says, Sir, there's no way that you can fit all 20 bales in your trunk and back seat. Are you sure you don't want some tied to your roof? Well, I don't want them falling off and I don't want the twine too tight to weaken the bales. Would you be interested in one of our trucks? That'll make it easier, or you can come back with a van or truck of your own. I want them in my car. They won't all fit then. If you want to use your car, my loaders can fit whatever they can, and you can come back to get the rest. You can make as many trips as you want. I guess that'll be okay. Okay, great. Looks at me and my loading partner. Fit whatever you can, and this gentleman will come back to get the rest. Alright, we'll do that. And the team leader walks back into the store. Me and my loading partner grab some plastic sheets to lay down in his truck, back seat, and floorboards. Entitled Dad says, Wait a minute, what the hell is that you're putting in my car? Plastic sheets to keep the loose straw from getting in your car? You can't do that. I don't want your trash in there. Sir, you said you didn't want loose straw, and this will prevent that. Can't you get your supervisor again or something? I don't want your trash. Sir, all she's going to do is reiterate what I just said. If you don't want loose straw in your car, then I really suggest taking this plastic. Call that lady on the radio again. Get her out here. Alright. I call for the team leader again, and request her to come back to the loading area. Team leader says, Sir, you said you don't want loose pine straw in your car, yes? That's right, and I don't understand why that means I have to take your trash with me. Sir, that's not trash. It's sheets of plastic we have for the sole purpose of preventing spills in customers' cars. My loaders are only taking precautions so they can fulfill your request. First, you morons can't fit all my items in my car, and now you want me to take your trash with me? Sir, as I've just said, that's not trash, and it's impossible to fit 20 bales in your car, and that's why we agreed that you could take them in multiple trips. Please don't yell at me, because I'm just trying to help you. Do you have a supervisor or someone else I can talk to? Because all of you are being useless. I can call the store manager if you'd like. Yes, I'd like to speak to your manager, and have you and you... points at me and my loading partner, your 2 moron workers fired for not being able to fulfill a simple request. Team leader calls the manager and asks him to come to the loading area. Manager says, what's going on here? Sir, why are you yelling? Entitled Dad explains the situation to manager. Manager says, Sir, if you don't want loose pine straw in your vehicle, then I definitely suggest you take the plastic. I don't want your friggin' trash. Sir, can you follow me? Finally, someone is doing their job and helping me. Manager leads Entitled Dad to the customer service desk and makes the clerk refund Entitled Dad's order. Now, you need to leave my store. What you mean, you weren't giving me those bales for free? You were abusing my employees and used profanity at me. You will leave and you are banned from my store. Get out before I call the police. Entitled Dad gets in his car and peels out of the parking lot. Sorry this isn't as exciting as other stories in this sub, but I just remembered this story after reading those others here, and I thought I would share it. Posted by user Shy Girl Turned Sassy. Titled, Entitled Brat Gets Iced Coffee Spilled All Over Him. Back in the summer of 2019, my boyfriend and I visited a local pastry shop to get some goodies for a small party with our friends. On this day, the shop was unusually busy. We decided to get iced coffees to go as we waited for our order. Enter annoying brat with his dad. The dad placed his order and completely ignored the kid as he ran rampant across the store, running into other customers and just being a major nuisance. I, along with a few other customers, told him to get his kid under control and were met with an indifferent, "He's just having a little fun, calm down." The employee asked the kid to behave when he began trying to climb on the goddamn glass display. The kid was ticked and yelled at the poor guy something like, "Don't tell my kid what to do." Then my boyfriend had an idea. He casually walked over to the display and placed his cup of iced coffee on top of it, right near the edge. The dad didn't see this as he wasn't paying attention. The kid couldn't see it either as it was too high for him to see the top. And sure enough, the next attempt the brat made to demount the display resulted in him being drenched in cold, sticky iced coffee. This finally got the father of the year's attention, and he yelled at the brat. The brat yelled back and actually cursed at his dad. An elderly gentleman who had seen what my boyfriend did said to the father, "See, this is why you should keep an eye on your kids." It was a good day. Posted by user Secretary to Satan. Titled, Girlfriend's mum insults me to my face and says I ruined her daughter's life. So, hey there internet. I'm pretty steaming about something that happened to me last week. I get that tensions are pretty high with coronavirus and all, and that might have caused this, but I just want to get this off my chest. Our cast are GF, girlfriend, GFM, the entitled parent, girlfriend's stepmom, GFD, girlfriend's dad, nice guy, unfortunately not there when this went down, and me, Hotel Trivago. So, last week, me and my girlfriend were talking through Skype because social distancing, and her mother walks in and starts yelling at my girlfriend for using their study. I'm not sure how things work in their house, but I can tell my girlfriend has heard this before and doesn't think much of it. She rolls her eyes, I giggle, girlfriend's mum gets angry. Girlfriend's mum starts yelling about how she has a bad attitude, how she doesn't have a job, and a bunch of other stuff I didn't need to know, and girlfriend doesn't want me to know. I give a little cough, because I genuinely don't know what to do, and I want girlfriend's mum to notice me so she'll stop. But instead, girlfriend's mum looks over at girlfriend's laptop. Girlfriend paid for it with the money she earned as a barista before everything went to hell. And she goes, "OP, you son of a psh! Do you think this is funny? You and your poor-ass family are all ruining my daughter's life. You cost her job as a surgeon. Girlfriend's mum wanted girlfriend to become a doctor. Girlfriend is afraid of blood. And that crappy job she got isn't paying any bills. I know it sounds too good to be true, but girlfriend's mum was a PR exec who quit to marry girlfriend's dad and then never found another job. I'm just like, where is all this aggression coming from?" Girlfriend was thoroughly mortified, and she tried to get the laptop away from girlfriend's mum, but girlfriend's mum was crying and said, "You were so young and raising you was so hard. You could never have gone through college, so I had to work hard to make sure you did. Now he's ruining it all. It's so unfair." You might know what happens next. Girlfriend's mum lets go, and girlfriend pulls away the laptop at such a speed that it goes flying into a wall and the screen cracks. Girlfriend's mum shouts, "Have your hillbilly boyfriend fix that for you, 'cause I won't," while storming out. I texted with girlfriend, and she's pretty shaken up by this whole thing, and I'm ticked. But I still love her no matter how crappy her mum is. Posted by user Coconut Poot. Titled, It may be the day before you get married. I know we divorced 27 years ago, but tonight is the night I get your father back. As the heading says, my parents divorced 27 years before this happened. It's always been civil on my dad's side of things. He had custody of us 3 kids and never said a bad word against our mum. My mum, however, blamed every negative thing in her life on him and or my stepmother. I moved to England from Australia and ended up marrying the man I moved in with /for. Coming from Australia, my whole ginormous family was coming, excluding the woman who was now ex-stepmother. Chalets were booked, everyone happy and excited. With my whole family coming, brothers, sister, their partners and children, aunts, uncles, etc., we'd all agreed to book the same place and have a bit of a holiday family reunion. This place happens to have its own little pub, run by 2 friends of ours. We spent the week sightseeing, doing wedding prep and playing in the snow, a novelty for Australians, the first and likely last time they'll see it. Night before the wedding, we all decided to have a meal at the bar. The whole place is practically booked out with our group, so our mate running the place is quite happy. We all eat, drink, and be merry. Stories are told, laughs are had, many at my expense as I had been vehemently anti-marriage as a child. My whole aim in life as a child was to be a maths teacher in the army. Poor me. Not only am I terrible at maths, but I also hate being told what to do. So this dream was always going to fail. Given that we were all heading to the wedding venue the next day, most of us retired at a reasonable hour. Husband-to-be and I merrily hiccuped our way to our chalet singing Land Down Under, with my sister and her fiancé who were in the chalet next to us. When women row and men sunder. And now we lay down to sleep, and god damn it, who the hell is calling at this hour? It's about 4 hours later, 2 in the morning. My mate from the pub is calling and said we should probably come down there. I shove coats and boots on over my pajamas and set off. Get there, and there is my dad, doing his best to avoid my mum, who has decided that this is the moment. What moment, you ask? This is the moment she and my father get back together, and all the wrongs in her life are righted. She was drunker than that feral pig who broke into campsites, drank 3 6-packs of beer, and tried to fight a cow. This is a true story. Google it. Dad didn't want to leave her at the bar alone, but he also didn't want to walk her back to her chalet and have her get the wrong idea, so he'd asked my mate to call me. I try and unwind her arms from him. She shrieks at me. Dad takes the opportunity to run away, and I'm left with her. It's only about 100 meters to her chalet, so I start walking her home. She starts crying and telling me the following. Your father still loves me. I know it. Mum, can you just stop and think about what you're saying? It's been so long since I had a man like your father. He's satisfied me more than anyone I've been with. He's gotta... Seriously, no thanks. You can stop. Oh, well, Willie, that just makes me tremble. At this point, I stop walking. I hold her shoulders, look her in her very drunk eyes, and tell her that I do not need to know about her sex life with my dad, ever. She bursts into tears, and told me that I ruined it all. I ask her to explain. Apparently, my wedding was going to be the catalyst for her getting back together, and she was going to give this to me for my wedding present, having 2 united parents to hold my hand and walk me down the aisle. She then starts shouting that it would have all worked, and I had to ruin it by showing up just when she was making her move. I sigh. I sigh again. I sigh once more for good measure, and then ask her if she could please, just for this week, keep her crap tidy and calm. I remind her that I'm getting married and that I didn't really want to be standing ankle deep in the snow at 2 in the morning listening to her talk about manipulating my dad into having sex with her. Readers, she toddlered me. She sat in the snow, crying, and refused to move until I told her that she could get back together with my father. So I left her there. I believe the snow worked its wonders on her burning loins, because she didn't bother my dad again about getting back together. Tragically, it didn't stop her general entitlement. She still made her best effort at the wedding to attention-seek and cause drama. Posted by user RTTR123. Titled, My mum wanted to force me to let her into my psychiatrist appointment because she was worried what I'd say about her. Background, I'm a 21-year-old on a high amount of meds for epilepsy, and I dropped out of college to deal with my medical issues since I used to have a seizure once a week. I'm currently going to a community college to transfer to a better university in a different major, so I will graduate 2 years later than all my classmates. So I was talking to my psychiatrist on video chat since I couldn't go to the hospital. Since this is a first appointment, he is asking some basic questions like, do you hear voices, or have you had thoughts of self-harm type things? I answer honestly. I mention my mother and family issues, like how my mother and father have been fighting since I was born and blame me for their deteriorating relationship. I say, oh, and my mum tends to insult me a lot, calling me a failure and invalid because I'm going to a community college right now. I also have anger issues, and after she screams and calls me swear words and phrases for over 40 times in a minute, I counted, I wasn't lying, for more than a minute while I helped her for 2 hours, then slapped me twice hard for stepping on something. I forgot what. So, enraged, I pinched her forehead, tried to lightly slap her cheek, and stormed off. I'm panicking and I say, wait, please don't call the police or anyone, don't tell them what I've done. Psychiatrist says, it seems like we need to talk again. Don't worry though, we want to help you. We won't tell anyone what you or your mother has done. I mentioned it to my mum. One thing over a 2-hour session, and it was a huge mistake. My mum didn't care about my suicide attempts, my depression, or how I felt. She said, how could you tell something like that, you narcissist? What's wrong with you? But I sent you exactly what I said. You're a liar. Nothing you say is true. You're the last person I would trust. Mum, I'm sorry, but I don't lie. I tell what I did and what you did no matter what. And they said, don't you dare call me Mum, you dumb invalid. You're lucky to be living with me at 22. I'm 21. All your classmates and friends are graduating 2 years before you. I'm sorry, I won't mention you again. She rants and raves. You never stop talking or starting arguments. You could have gotten me arrested. Well, I'll get you arrested, you POS. I wish I had an abortion. ... Now make sure I'm in your next appointment, or I won't let you see your psychiatrist. But shut up and only talk to them about your anger issues, you useless invalid failure. God, how can you still be talking about your family at 22? I mean, it's not like your brother is 30 and doesn't complain or argue with me. I'm silent, even though I know that's not true. If my mum insults him when he visits, he will leave the house and go to his apartment immediately. Then, depending on how she acted, come back later. Also, my mum is comparing me to my brother, who is 9 years older with no medical issues, but he lived at home until he was 26 and got his first CS job. My mum insults me for another hour, then is quiet. Edit. My mum and I get along so well for like 2 days, and 3 days there's nothing really, but 2 days it's like this. Second edit, thank you for the advice and kindness everyone, but most of all I never realized how supportive and caring an online community could be until this post. I really appreciate it. Edit for clarification, next year is transferring to an out-of-state university, so she won't have to contact me unless she wants to, which will probably be rarely, lol. But yeah, as long as I deal with her a little longer, next year I'll transfer out of state for the rest of my undergrad. Posted by user Kitten1339, titled, Entitled Dad Demands a Meeting Room to Speak with His Daughter. Sir, you aren't allowed to see her. Hello again everyone, you know the drill by now. This one's also a short one, so yay. So background info, I worked in a high school in a low socioeconomic area for a while. Now, when you work at a school, you have a database of student names with basic information like parent contacts, medical issues, and restricted access notes. Restricted access notes just means that the child is not allowed to be seen by certain people, whether that be due to divorce or something worse. This day was a day like any other, and I was absolutely flat out trying to get work done and deal with phone calls. This dad walks in around third period and takes a seat, seeing that I'm busy. Eventually, I call him over and ask how can I help him. Me is me, ED's entitled dad, C is child. He says, yes, I'd like to use one of your meeting rooms to speak with child, please. I'm sorry, I'll have to check if meeting rooms are available for such a thing without a staff member present. They weren't allowed to, by the way. No, it has to be just me and her. He started to fidget at this point. I knew something was up by now and I say, what was a student's last name? And what was your name? He gave me the names and I looked her up in the system. She had a restricted access not for her father, who was the man standing in front of me. Obviously, I can't see the detail on the notes, but it does state that there is a restraining order against the father. I say, "I'm sorry, sir, but no one by that name attends this school." "No, I know she does. This is the only high school in this area. Just let me fudging talk to her." "Again, sir, there is no one by that name here. I can't help you." "I'm going to talk to her mother, you bunch of C's, trying to keep me away from my daughter. She's my daughter, and I can see her if I fudging want to." He called me a few other derogatory terms before leaving the office in a rage. I just ended up sighing and calling the mother to let her know what happened before writing up a report of our interaction in case the police were involved. The mother eventually came to pick up her daughter early. Posted by user SCP Boy Peanuts, titled, "Entitled Father Yells at Me and Tries to Destroy My Phone Because He Got Wet on a Water Ride." Background information. I was at this theme park in the UK. It's quite big, called Alton Towers, in Staffordshire. And in the park, they have a ride called the Battle Galleons. Around the ride, they have water cannons that you can use to wet the riders. They also have them on the ride. Our cast are me, entitled father, entitled son, park staff, entitled mother, and entitled daughter. Story. So, entitled father was on the ride. So naturally, I went onto one of the water cannons to wet the people on the ride. I then made a mistake. I wet entitled father and entitled son. They are visibly ticked. However, I think nothing of it. They then exit the ride and I see them running up to where I am. He goes, "What gives you the right to wet me and my child?" "It's a water ride. That's the point. Did I give you permission to do that?" "I don't need permission. It's a water ride. Me and my child are now soaking wet, all thanks to you. I will make sure to have you removed from the park and banned for life." "Daddy, I'm cold." "Don't worry, Daddy's here." Entitled father then attempts to grab my phone out of my hand to throw it into the water rides area. At this time, PS is walking by, so I call them over. I say, "This man is yelling at me because I wet him and his child on a water ride. He also just attempted to grab my phone out of my hand and throw it into the water." EM and ED then come off the ride and spot the ruckus going off down at where I am. EM begins shouting and screaming at me and PS. EM's like, "What the frick is going on here? Please don't use that language around children, ma'am. This boy here wet me and ES. Why the frick would you do that? They're just trying to enjoy their day out. It's a water ride." ED then tries to snatch my phone, just like entitled father. PS, I think I've seen enough here. Enjoy your day. The park staff then escorts the three out and entitled mother to the park exit, and I get on with my day like nothing happened, with my phone safely with me. Posted by user White Roofmaker, titled, "Entitled Dad Wants Me to Give His Son Money." This happened a few days ago. I was at a restaurant with my best friend who I'll call G, for his birthday. I brought him so I would pay for the food. So G, me, and a couple of other friends arrived at the restaurant and sat down, and the waiter came. He was around 20 and his dad was there because I think it was his first day, but I'll call the kid T and the dad ED. He came to us and asked us the usual things, what we wanted, etc. But when it came down to the bill, we paid a bit extra for the tip when the dad came in. He's like, "Hey you, what? Are you paying?" "No, OP is." ED to me, "Give my son more money." "What? Give my son more money for his tip?" "No, I already gave him $17 for his tip." "That's not enough. You need to pay him $40. He needs it." "No, and we're leaving." "No, until you pay my son $40 more, you are not leaving. I know the manager." "I'm still leaving, even if you do know him." "No, come back, ED gets cut off by T. "Dad, stop. It's fine. Just let me go serve other customers and you need to go home." "Fine, T. You better make more money." This was the last thing I overheard before we left. After this, we went to G's house and just hung out until we had to leave. G'day there guys, Outro Markee here. Hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed making it today. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Tell me what you thought about it down below. Also, if you like memes, be sure to head on over to my second channel, Markee 2. It should be one of the sexy Australian faces on screen, the one without the flag. It's my latest and greatest creation, and I hope you like it. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. You guys do so much good for me, and the support goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I love you guys, and I appreciate all the help and support you provide me on this channel. Also, if you want to join the family, links are down in the description below, or click that join button next to the subscribe button. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that one today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!